If you'd like to know more about schizophrenia and sources of help for coping with this condition, a free information booklet is available. Please send a very large stamped self-addressed envelope to Schizophrenia, Box 96, Birmingham B1 2JL. That's Schizophrenia, Box 96, Birmingham B1 2JL.
The only British television reporter at the Siege of Dubrovnik. Independent television news is indispensable television news.
So let's do it.
British Airways has some very good news for people who fly regularly, air miles. You get them if you fly to the States, Glasgow, even if you fly Concorde. Wherever. And here's the really interesting part. You can use them for free flights almost anywhere in the world, for the whole family.
You haven't got a passport, have you, Keith?
Ah, sorry, Keith.
Air miles from the world's favourite airline. For details, call 0800 100 108.
One new battery, one old battery. Which is which? You can see for yourself with the new battery tester, free from Duracell.
At the British Grand Prix, we asked people who'd already shaved that morning to shave again with the revolutionary Brawn Flex Control.
It's quite a nice sensation, actually.
We wanted to see how the pivoting head and twin foils followed the contours of his face for a really close shave.
I think with it having a double two heads on it, you feel as though you're getting shaved twice, if you like.
Then we checked how much the brawn had taken off.
Very impressed, very impressed.
Once you try it, we think you'll find you haven't shaved till you've shaved with a brawn.
See what's down at Halfords this Christmas in Discount Drive. Save on this Philips car alarm. Auto lock for instant security is down. Save on Canon heel care mats. Halfords skid lid. And the fabulous Apollo Fizz. Discount Drive, only at Halfords now.
Monday at 9, experience the frantic world of Wall Street.
I need the information now. No, in 10 minutes it's history. At 4 o'clock I'm a dinosaur.
Starring Michael Douglas.
Greed is good. Greed works.
Charlie Sheen.
There is no nobility in poverty anymore, Dad.
Daryl Hannah and Martin Sheen.
He's yours and your kid. If you're not inside, you are outside, okay? The real question is whether you got what it takes to stay.
A movie premiere for Monday at 9 on ITV.
Maxwell's empire crumbles, the family's forced to sell up. Tonight, his son says, I'm sad about the pensioners. John Tanner jailed for life for murdering student Rachel. Labour expels Terry Fields, he'll stand against them. And why dirty linen brought the house down. Good evening. The Daily Mirror was put up for sale today along with the rest of the late Mr. Robert Maxwell's publishing empire. His sons gave up control of the family businesses to administrators who'll sell what they can. The family businesses were said today to owe getting on for £1,400 million. The editor of The European, the paper Mr. Robert Maxwell founded 18 months ago, said tonight tomorrow's edition may be the last. The New York Daily News, which Mr. Maxwell bought in March, filed in America for protective bankruptcy to save it from creditors. Mr. Kevin Maxwell, who briefly succeeded his father as chairman of Maxwell Communication Corporation, flew to New York tonight.
Kevin Maxwell tried to hold together an empire built up by his father after 1 month he's admitted defeat. He's gone to New York tonight, leaving the administrators in charge.
Clearly we will be cooperating to the fullest extent with the administrator to maximise values for all our creditors, employees and shareholders. Thank you.
Do you have any message for the Mirror pensioners?
Obviously very saddened.
So these grey-suited administrators are now in control where the charismatic Robert Maxwell once reigned. Appointed on the prompting of the banks, they, and only they, will decide whether there is any future for the Maxwell businesses. They must raise money fast by putting assets up for sale, including the Mirror Group.
I think that is likely to be the outcome.
Have you had any prospective buyers asking you about MGN?
We've had numerous prospective buyers already contacting us for various parts of the group, as would inevitably happen in this sort of situation.
They will cooperate with the Maxwell brothers.
They are still directors of certain subsidiary companies, and that they're assisting us in trying to
Sorry,
understand.
the question was, have they any chance of now regaining control of their private company?
That's not really a question that I can answer. I suppose it's conceivable that not very likely.
From today, they will preside over the end of the Maxwell empire. The private businesses are headed by Headington Investments and Robert Maxwell Group. The Maxwell brothers have stood aside. The administrators have taken over. They found debts of £1,400 million, far higher than early estimates. About 800 million owed to the banks, 600 million to the public companies, MGN and MCC, and their pension funds. They must reduce these debts by selling assets. There's a stake in the Mirror Group worth about 250 million. There's the New York Daily News and the European, but they're both losing money. It may be impossible to sell them. There's the market research firm AGB, worth 100 million. There's the stake in Maxwell Communications, worth 150 million. In total, 500 million pounds. Other assets are difficult to value. That figure is way below the debts of 1,400 million. Today, Swiss Bank Corporation broke away from the other banks. It's appointed its own receiver to retrieve a £50 million loan to a private Maxwell company. The money was due to be repaid on the day Robert Maxwell died.
In the course of the week of the 5th of November, when the money did not arrive, and as you say, Robert Maxwell had died, we naturally were concerned to find out what had happened. And that was the point at which we insisted that the company either repay the money or provide us with the security. And to our great surprise, we were told that they could neither repay nor provide us with the security because the security had been sold.
The European newspaper is likely to be the first casualty under the administrators, originally published as part of the European vision of its former owner.
Unless somebody comes along and buys the European or a substantial stake in it, it can no longer continue to exist. However, that said, I can assure you that there is considerable interest in this paper from potential buyers.
Over at the Mirror, a more upbeat assessment.
The future of Mirror Group newspapers is as it always was. It is very, very sound as an ongoing company. We have very good newspapers, we have a strong profit-making company, and there's no doubt at all that it will go on being so. Where the doubt lies in its future clearly is who is going to own it.
Not Ian Maxwell or his brother, no doubt about that.
I'm more worried for you than for me, because I'm going forward and you guys are going backwards.
The smiles must conceal bewilderment that his father's legacy could have collapsed so rapidly.
Mirror Group newspapers said tonight that Mr. Robert Maxwell stripped its pension fund of £350 million in the weeks before his death. They said that some of it may be recoverable. In the Commons, the Prime Minister said the government had greatly tightened the protection of pension fund members. New rules are being brought forward.
As the scale of the scandal became apparent, Mirror staff, past and present, found it hard to believe their pensions were actually in danger. One former managing editor expressed the views of many of them.
No, I mean, pensions are sacred, or they should be. People work all their lives, and the best thing they have to look forward to is their pension. And I never dreamed that proprietors, owners, boards of directors could get their hands on pension funds. It's outrageous, isn't it?
And one of the fund's trustees, the only one to have been elected by the workforce, professed to have known nothing of the wheeling and dealing.
I feel very sad and angry about the whole thing, that it could have been allowed to happen. But you can legislate for a great many things, but I don't know how you legislate for wholesale fraud, which is what this amounts to.
Tonight, the Mirror Group announced it was establishing a new trustee company for the pension fund because the way it was structured in the past left many trustees in the dark.
Certainly they didn't know anything.